How to set boundaries for toddlers. So we're not always saying no all day because we want to be positive parents. So how do you set those boundaries for those darling little ones without being negative? Check it out. Hey, I'm Lisa. Welcome to Miracle Maker Mom. We empower moms and dads with awesome parenting tools. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because I know you are gonna love it. So your toddler has discovered the word no, and they're using it all day long. No, 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 no. And you don't want to sound like them. You don't always want to be telling them, no, no, don't do this. No, no, don't do this. So how do you set boundaries for toddlers? Because we all know that if you want to have kids who are well behaved when they're older, you need to start when they're younger. You need to set those boundaries. You have to be able to teach them what's right and what's wrong and start when they're young. So here are some tips to help you get started with your toddlers so you're not always saying no, so don't feel like you're being negative. You want to be your positive self. So here's some tips. Number one, decide on the boundaries. Now this sounds pretty simple, but you don't want to be wishy-washy, and you also want to agree with your spouse. And if you've got teenage kids, then you've got to agree with them too, because your teenage kid can't be saying no to something that you've already allowed. So you got to work together, especially when there's a few people parenting here, but even just with yourself, to decide, is this something I allow, is this something I don't allow? And really have clarity for yourself so that when your child is either doing or not doing or asking permission, you are very clear and not wishy-washy at all. And you don't want to have too many boundaries, too many rules, because that's not good for anybody either. Number two, use few words to describe the boundary. Because remember, we're talking about toddlers here. Toddlers can't listen to you rambling on and on and on and talking, lecturing. They just want to hear a few words, and that's what they can process. So if you're not letting them go into a certain cabinet, said we don't go in this cabinet. No cabinet. Not this cabinet. Don't touch this cabinet. And you want to be consistent about it. So it's not like, you've got to be very clear and say exactly what you want in very few words. Number three, be consistent. That means that even when you're tired and you're lying on the couch and you don't feel like getting up, you don't just decide to all of a sudden allow them to do that thing that you didn't before. Like if they're not allowed to eat popcorn on the couch, and right now you're tired and don't feel like dealing with that, all of a sudden they're eating popcorn on the couch and giggling and smiling, Mommy, I'm eating popcorn on the couch, and they're like, whatever. That is not a good idea, because you're setting yourself up that this kid is going to test that boundary, because now they know that sometimes it's okay, so maybe the other times that you think it's not okay, they can make that it's okay. So you got to be consistent. I know it's hard. I know, trust me. Sorry, dance break. Number four is set yourself up technically for success. That means that you are locking up cabinets, you're closing things, you're putting things up high, you're hiding things. I just had the other day, I realized, oh my gosh, I totally did not set myself technically for success. I bought a few of those little mini chocolate bars, and I just put them in the pantry, and everybody knew that we're saving this for the weekend, we're all going to have it together. And of course, I wasn't thinking. My toddler every now and then was going into the kitchen a little suspicious. I wasn't paying attention. I realized that he went into the pantry. He knew where they were. He got up on a chair and he just ate them. He ate them all. Actually, I think almost all of them. So no wonder he didn't eat his dinner. So you've got to set yourself technically up for success so that, you don't want to always be chasing your toddler not into go into the cabinet under the sink. Just move the stuff from the cabinet under the sink, or lock that cabinet. There are some better locks and not such good locks. I know all about it. But you want to set yourself up technically so that you don't have to be constantly chasing your toddler. Number five is be gentle and firm. You don't want to get all worked up and angry and screaming and just frustrated, because they love that. It's exciting. It's excitement for them. They like to see these things, so they might actually press your buttons more often, so just so that they can see that excitement. And you're all lying on the couch and all of a sudden there's excitement going on. So Some kids like that more than others, but make sure that you are gentle and firm. But make sure that you've got the firm also. Don't just be all lovey-dovey about it. You can be lovey-dovey, but in a firm way. No. Once in a while, you've got to have that no. Because you got to have the gentle and firm. Number 6, move on and distract. Now this is the key if you want to make sure that you're not always saying no, that you're not negative, you don't feel like you're always, talking about boundaries and telling them no, is you need to be able to move on and distract. So when your child is doing something they shouldn't be doing, or if they're pressing up against a boundary and you've set a boundary and they're trying to test the waters here, move on and distract. Get them busy with something else. So they're building a tower, you're moving on to another toy, you're taking something out, you're coloring something, or you're baking cookies or calling grandma. Whatever it is you're doing, you've got to move on and distract so that you can just get out of the circle of testing boundaries and holding up the fort here. Move on, distract, and keep up with these 6 things and you will be set and ready to go. Question of the day. What is the hardest boundary that you have tried to make? One that you put down the rule and they just walk all over you and you have to do it again and again and again. It's like the worst thing to reinforce. What is the hardest boundary that you have ever had to make? Leave it in the comments below. Always believe that you are an awesome parent because whatever you believe, you become. I know you love this video because you are still here, so give it a thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button, and let me ask you, are you having problems with toddler temper tantrums? If you are having toddler temper tantrum problems, you want to head right on up over here to check this video out next.